Welcome back, everybody. Jaysin Static with another episode of the interview series. I'm Jaysin Static. You, sir, are?
Ron Powers.
How long have you been in the wrestling business, Ron Powers?
I got in 1988.
1988.
Recruited by Pat O'Connor.
Oh, wow. Pat O'Connor. I bet you have a lot of stories about Pat O'Connor, man.
Oh, yeah. It was an interesting time.
I bet you. So what we do here, we ask two questions about the wrestling industry and see if we can't impart some knowledge on the young guys in the industry and, heck, even some of the older guys.
All right.
And you ready?
Yep.
All right. How do you see the wrestling industry today evolving in terms of streaming technologies, the innovation of storytelling, and how can somebody stay ahead of the curve on that? Because you came in the 80s, and that was right around that was in the territory days, right?
Yes.
And then the advent of cable television and everything came around. So you was in that era where that started changing the industry.
Correct.
And now we're in the industry today where social media and technology and all of that stuff.
Correct.
So how would a guy stay, or how I guess I could say, how did you guys transition from something like that?
Well, as far as transitioning from the way wrestling used to be to how it is now.
Right.
Well, I feel like back in the day, you learned psychology, and I don't think a lot of that psychology is there anymore.
Okay.
I think that psychology was blown on a lot of angles in the past. I mean, I'm no one to really talk. I mean, I never really made it big anywhere. I've done some stuff over in Japan, in Puerto Rico, all that kind of stuff. But I never really had the big push or anything like that. But I knew how this business worked. I knew how it operated.
Yeah.
I knew that if I didn't want to relocate to New York or Atlanta, that that I would just be a dime a dozen guy, which I accepted. But I mean, I was a family man, so I didn't want to be on the road.
Right.
But, as far as how it transitioned, I think it's I don't know. I don't even want to call it wrestling anymore because now you have like the UFC. They do a lot of wrestling promos. It's all a bunch of talk. It's all a bunch of just blabber. And I will say that there's some talented guys in the business. Mm-hmm. Me and Gary and Danny. We all helped train Randy when Randy was here in St. Louis.
Yeah, I remember that.
Before he went down, his dad sent him down to Louisville, I believe, with Pritchard to do the WWF stuff. We noticed, it was changing then. Like I said, psychology was all different. Mm-hmm. You had these Bill Goldbergs coming in, going 100-0, and, beating everybody across the board. And I just, I don't know. I kind of, that might have helped Bill Goldberg and that marketed Goldberg, but it only helped Goldberg. And I just think that, the psychology behind what he was doing was just kind of off the board.
Right.
I just think that there was a lot of guys that kind of felt like that, but hey, this is how that business goes, and you're all expendable.
Yeah. Now
you're all replaceable.
Yeah, everybody is, and so if we're talking about the psychology of wrestling, what is and its change? What is something like that? Pat, if you want to talk about that imparted on you. That people are doing different nowadays compared to what back then.
Well, a wrestling match is simple. There's only 4 parts to a wrestling match.
Right.
You get the baby face over.
Right.
The heel gets his heat.
Right.
You got the comeback.
Right.
Then you got the finish.
Okay. Yeah.
That's 4 parts to a match. Anything beyond that, it's trampoline cowboy. It's all It's all spots. Unfortunately, a lot of those guys, and I'm not taking anything away. From them,
right.
They all make good money. They all and they're all very talented. But it's the psychology has just changed a lot.
Right. So what if you had another I don't know if you're still training guys and whatnot, but if you had a young guy under your wing right now, what is the best thing that you could tell him to do, that would stay true to what you feel, wrestling is?
Protect yourself. Keep your head on a swivel.
Okay.
Learn what you can from who you can.
Right.
That's willing to teach it. There's a lot of guys that might know stuff that don't want to teach it. Mm-hmm. But I think if someone has enough talent and they go into an area to where these people are willing to teach
right.
that knew the business, that they could definitely learn a lot from them.
Yeah, man. All right. I appreciate that first question, man. Ron, are you ready for that second question, man?
I'm ready for the second question.
I appreciate you, man. What's the most challenging aspect of working with a new tag partner or stable, and how do you learn to build that chemistry that's needed for a cohesive and making it flow right?
Well, first of all, you need to have someone in there that's probably a veteran.
Yeah.
Whether it's the manager or whether it's someone that can call the spots in the ring. We
Right.
call them generals. And then, of course, you've always got to have the guys that take the bumps.
Right.
So, that'll be your younger guys and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that. So as long as you can get a good cohesiveness between the younger talent and the older talent, the
Yeah.
same tag, you got the psychology there, you got the bumps there, you got the moves.
Right.
Stable, kind of the same way. You can only go so much with little talent. You can only go so far with little talent.
Right,
so,
right.
Also, that's on the booker.
Yeah.
Because in like a lot of aspects, he doesn't have a whole lot to work with
Yeah,
when it comes
sometimes,
to
yeah.
putting stables together because it takes the roster down.
Right, right.
So, it kind of limits him to what he can do with certain people, especially if he has a stable. So you won't really see that too much on the independent scene. You might here and there.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
But no, it's I just think as long as you got somebody in that tag team that's a veteran that can call the shots, and then you got the young kid that can take all the bumps because the old guys don't want to do it anymore.
Right. Yeah.
That's a good cohesiveness.
Yeah.
I've been on both ends. I
Now,
tagged with the younger guys, and I tagged with the older guys.
In your time in the industry, was you ever in any tag teams or anything like that where you were the new guy in there
Me and Brody were undefeated in the late '80s.
Okay.
in
Oh wow.
Illinois and
Okay.
Missouri. So
Yeah.
I've had a lot of great tag teams.
So at that-
I've Danny Boy, Gary Jackson. I've had a lot of great tag team partners in the past. I've been fortunate enough to
Yeah.
to be with some good people.
So you got a chance to play on both sides of that,
Sure.
being tagging with Brody and Brody being the veteran at that point in time.
Sure.
And then now that you're still working around and doing some stuff, so you've been on both sides of that.
Right. And I'll
Yeah.
have the younger guy in there taking the bumps, and
Yeah,
I'll be
yeah.
telling him what to do from the corner.
Yeah.
That's how it works now.
Yeah. All right, man. That's all we needed,
All
brother.
right. Hey, thank
Man,
you.
I appreciate you. Thank
no
you.
problem. My
Yep.
pleasure.
Yep.
Good luck with everything.
Yeah, thank you. And we're going to close this out, guys, just like we do. Jaysin Static across all social media. Facebook, social media, blah, blah, blah. Website, weare138co.com. That's all we are. Take it easy.